Hi guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and today we are going through my August TBR. I only started doing TBRs last month. July was the very first month that I tried a TBR, and we're going to make them a regular thing because I am really enjoying having a set TBR. I don't stick to them religiously. I am a mood reader, and if I really change my mind about a book or another book comes along that I am desperate to read, I'm going to do that. Reading is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. But for the most part, July was such a good reading month. It was so productive. You guys will get to hear so much more about it in my wrap up, which is coming out on Wednesday. But all in all, having a TBR has been really good for me, and so we're gonna keep the TBRs going. I've also realised that I do generally always have an idea of the books that I want to get to in a month, so I may as well just put them into a TBR for myself and for you guys to watch, because I love watching TBRs. You guys seem to really like that video, so I think we'll just make them a regular thing. Now, my last TBR was very overambitious. I believe I put 10 books on my July TBR, and we're taking it down a notch with the August TBR. There is only 7 books on my August TBR, which is still a lot of books. But given I'm literally not doing anything else, 7 books is very manageable. I think 7 gives me the opportunity to read when I want to, but also take a break when I want to. July has been just read. As much as I've enjoyed the books that I have read and I've enjoyed having a TBR, I do feel like a slump is around the corner. So we're going to try and get ahead of the slump, and we're going to try and avoid that by taking the pressure off a little bit for August. Before we get on into the books that I want to read in August, I've got to say it. You know what's coming, but I've got to say it. If you like what you have seen so far and you want to see my other TBRs, wrap-ups, etc, why not hit that big red subscribe button down below and check out some of my other content. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here at all. I love talking about books, so we're going to keep talking about books every single week, so you may as well subscribe. So rather than blabbering on even more, let's actually get to why you guys are here and talk about the 7 books I want to read in August. So I have structured the month a tiny bit more than I normally would. In my head, my vague idea is I've got quite a few contemporaries that I really want to get to whilst it's still summer, and then towards the end of the month transition into some more fantasy reads in time for autumn. That's my plan. So the first book on my TBR comes heavily recommended by my friend Rachel, and her channel will be linked down in the description for you guys because she is the queen of contemporary novels. And this book came highly recommended from her, and that is Olive by Emma Gannon. So this is an adult contemporary about our main character Olive. As far as I'm aware, this follows Olive and her female friends, and it's very much a contemporary about female friendships, especially in adulthood when everyone's doing their own thing. It's a little bit harder to maintain friendships, and to be honest, I don't really know much about this book. I feel like I read somewhere that this is about Olive kind of realising that maybe she doesn't want the same things that her friends want. She kind of wants her life to go in a very different direction, and can the friendships withhold that? It doesn't say this on the back, but I do feel like I have read that somewhere. This is described as a love letter to the life raft of female friendship. And to be honest, I'm really in the mood for a book like this. I need a book that is more friendship based than romance based. There are a lot of contemporary romances on here as well, but this book is just really calling to me right now. I think it's going to be one of the first that I read in August. I am just very eager to read it, what can I say? And then we get more into the romances, because I've just picked up a lot of them recently. And so the first one is Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. I've been drawing out my reading of Stephanie Perkins for the longest time, because I just really wanted to draw them out. I recently reread Anna and the French Kiss. Loved it just as much as I did the first time I read it. Lola and the Boy Next Door was a little bit of a letdown. I'm hoping we can come back strong with this one. Stephanie Perkins always puts little cameos from the other characters in as well, so I'm excited to see what little cameos they are in here. I do believe that we have already met Josh and Isla. I think that Josh and Isla had little cameos in Anna and the French Kiss, if it's the same Josh and Isla. It's kind of an unusual name. You'd think it would be the same one. I've heard very mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people thought it was a bit of a letdown like Lola and the Boy Next Door, but for the sake of how much I love Anna and the French Kiss and how much of a comfort read it is for me, Gotta give this one a go. My mouth gets so dry when I'm filming. So the next book I purchased at the same time as Isla and the Happily Ever After. I purchased both of these books when I was in the midst of crying over the ending of Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, and I decided that I need to spontaneously buy more YA contemporaries. And so this book is Alex Approximately by Jenn Bennet. I had already had this one on my wish list, so I just click, 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 boom, it arrived on my door. A lot of people, when I posted this on my Bookstagram, said that they really, really enjoyed it, which is good because when it arrived I kind of looked at it and was like, not to judge a book by its cover or anything, but this book doesn't look like it's going to be a good book. So I was quite pleased to discover that people had really enjoyed this. So this follows our main character Bailey, and she has been talking to and crushing on this guy named Alex, but they have only been speaking over the internet. They've only been interacting over the internet. When Bailey moves to Alex's hometown, she doesn't tell him that she has moved there. When Bailey meets another guy that she slowly starts to become interested in, she has to decide whether to cling to this online fantasy romance she has with Alex or actually move on with what she has in front of her. I feel like it could be a little bit predictable. I think I might already know where this book is going, but I'm very willing to give it a go, and to be honest, I think it's just going to be good fun. Who doesn't love a good fun book? They don't always have to take you by surprise, they don't always have to blow you away. Reading is supposed to be fun, and if that is for me, then I'm going to consider it a win because I review based on enjoyment, so. And then the final kind of summary romance contemporary, we're switching up the format here, is a graphic novel. And so the graphic novel I have chosen is This One Summer by Gillian Tamaki and Mariko Tamaki. If you recognise that name, that would be because Mariko Tamaki wrote Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, which is a book I adore and have rambled on and on and on about how much I adore this book. I think it's the greatest graphic novel to grace our planet. And so when I was in Forbidden Planet and I saw this book, I also had to pick it up. I believe this is a sapphic middle grade following two best friends as they are on a summer family holiday together, except our main protagonist's family life is kind of going down the drain a bit. She's really dealing with a lot, and I'm assuming it's about her finding solace in this friendship that could potentially be more. These books look so nice to each other on the shelf, and I just have really, really high hopes for this. I think it's going to be just as cozy and coming of age as Laura Dean was. Who doesn't love a graphic novel, especially when it's a contemporary? And so now we're kind of moving away from the contemporaries. We're getting a bit more into fantasies and things like that, just to get myself more in the mood for when the colder weather starts hitting. It gets dark earlier, and that's when I really hit my fantasy stride. So I'm gonna prepare early this year. And so this next book I have in ebook form, so I cannot show it to you, but that is Fire Wave by Anna Strojevic. I'm so sorry if I've butchered that, but Anna very kindly emailed me and said that she'd come across my channel and she wondered if she could send me an ebook and I would review it for her. This is a YA superheroine fantasy, which was right up my alley, and so I thought, why not? So this is about our main character Ariadne, and after she has a near-death experience and her place of work is attacked, she kind of discovers this seedy underbelly, I'm assuming magical world that she didn't know existed, which leads her into saving the world, I would assume. I just thought that I would give this book a go. I was in the mood for a fantasy, why not give it a go? So the penultimate book that I wish to share with you was a little bit of a cover buy. I am very interested in the story, but I did purposely save my £10 off at Waterstones just so I could buy this edition, just because it's too beautiful to not buy, and that is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I have been getting more into Greek mythology retellings lately. I've mentioned before that Madeline Miller kind of put me off them, but Pat Barker's The Silence of the Girls really brought me back onto them, and this book was too pretty. I felt like I just had to give it a go after I discovered that I don't hate retellings after all. This follows Ariadne, who is the sister to the Minotaur, and she falls in love with Theseus when he comes to visit her, and this involves Ariadne having to make the decision to help Theseus in killing the Minotaur, which is a betrayal of not just her family, but also her entire country. But she loves her family, she loves Theseus. What's a girl to do? And I'm very, very excited to see if I like Jennifer Saint's writing. This is one that I particularly like from mythology. Ariadne is just one of my favourite characters in Greek mythology, so I'm really, really excited about this. I've heard good things from the people that have read this. I do, however, think if any book is going to get taken off of this list due to mood reading or not getting around to it, it's probably gonna be this one. Just because I can read this in September, it will still fit the vibe for September. I don't need to be in a huge rush to read it, and I really, really want to like it, so I want to wait until I'm in the mood. And then the final book on this list is kind of a continuation of a reread of a series that I started in July, and so that is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The first 3 books were on my July TBR, and I've gotten through those fairly well. I really enjoyed the reread actually. I'm enjoying these books a lot more than I thought that I would enjoy them. I was a bit worried that maybe I had grown out of them, but I'm really, really enjoying the reread actually. So I would like to continue it into August. However, as we know from book 4 onwards, they become beefy boys. They're big books, they become dark books. I'm quite happy that we ended up doing the shorter, lighter books in the summer, and then the heavier, bigger ones I will end up reading in the autumn. I think that's worked out fairly well. But reading 3 this past month has been a little bit overwhelming. It was a little bit too much, and since these books get so much bigger, I think I will just only put 1 on my TBR for August. If I really, really want to read another one, then I can. But for now, we're just gonna stick to Goblet of Fire and see how we go from there. As I said, I kind of want to take the pressure off a little bit in August, so just the 1. And so here are the 6 books plus 1 ebook that I want to read in August. It's a very summery, contemporary / YA fantasy kind of month. I'm very looking forward to it. I'm really, really looking forward to reading all of these books. It's going to be a great month. If you guys have read these books and you want to share your thoughts down in the comments section, do feel free to do so. I reply to every single comment, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on these books. It might help give me some kind of structure to the month, and I would just really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. If you did make it this far, you may as well hit that big red subscribe button, because you clearly don't mind listening to my voice, and that's the first hurdle. So you may as well check out some of my other videos, watch some of my wrap-ups and TBRs, and get to know me a little bit more, and stick around. As I said, there is no shortage of bookish content here, so why not? What's holding you back? Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope that there are no reading slumps in your future and you enjoy absolutely everything that you are reading right now, and I will see you next week for my next video. Bye guys.